and Namaste. Today we have with us a very special guest, an international biker, the only Indian to complete the most adventurous Dakar in 2019, runner-up of Big Boss Season 8 2021, none other than Shri Aravind KP sir. Solmelu sir.
Namaste.
A very warm welcome to you to Anubhava Payana sir.
Thank you so much. Pleasure being here.
Sir, which was your first bike and how did you get it? How was your first riding experience, sir?
My first bike was a RX Yamaha 135. I got it in back in the year 2006. It was a deal between me and my parents that if I would score well in my PU, they would get me a bike for degree. And yeah, I had to score more than 80, but then I did really well and I scored probably 84.7 or something like that. So that's when I got that bike. It's been a crazy ride from then, for sure.
How did you get into these racing fields, sir?
See, I was a competitive kid as in my formative years. Like you all know, I was a track and field athlete. I was also involved with high jump, swimming, pole vault and all of that. So I would compete with my brother and my classmates to school on the cycle. So that competitive nature was always there. But then, you know, it was in our earlier days that I used to watch a lot of races on ESPN, and I would get enthralled by it, and I would feel really powerful as to someone who's winning the event can make 40,000 people stand on their feet and clap for him. So that's how I was inspired. And it so happened that I witnessed a race in Manipal, a live race in Manipal, and that's when my dream got a direction as to even in India this is possible, and that's how it kind of formed and grew.
What about bettings and all, sir? In college?
See, earlier, you know, I was not really pulled towards betting because my parents always were against gambling and playing cards at home and all of that. So we didn't really have that coming through our childhood or whenever I grew up. But you know, it used to be like a race. Like if you lose, you need to fill fuel for me. That's how it used to be. That was the bet, and it was all. I think it was all a part of ego. Like if I would win against somebody, that itself is like winning a bet for me. So we didn't really bet much, but yeah, the fuel was the most thing that we used to normally bet on.
When your parents got to know that you became a bike racer, how was their reaction? What was their stand?
Initially, they had no clue because I was. My parents live in Manipal, right? So I stay in. I used to stay in Mangalore. In a hostel, so they had no clue that I was doing all of this until I started appearing in the paper. So one fine day there was this event called Raymond's Classic which happened in Mangalore, and I happened to finish first in 5 of the classes, and then I appeared on the front page of the paper or something like that. So that's when my dad, normal routine of my dad is he wakes up at 5 and then he makes tea for himself and then he reads the paper first thing in the morning. So when my phone rang in the morning itself, I kind of knew that this is why he was calling. And you know, they were not really happy with it initially because you know I had gone to Mangalore to study, but then they thought I was doing all of this monkeying around than studying. But over the years, they kind of understood that this is what I wanted to do. And once I got my factory ride, they kind of knew that I was very serious about it, and I was not, you know, going to waste any time doing all of this. So it was hard to convince, but you know, over the years,
they got convinced.
Yes.
So you took bike racing as your profession, and it's really a very dangerous and risky career, sir. How will you gather courage to perform all those life-taking stunts, sir?
See, what happens is in our sport, it's called calculated risks. So you know how much you can push and what is the limit that you'll have to stop yourself from going. So there is nothing in this world which is not there is no risk involved with. Walking on the street also is risky nowadays.
Yes, sir, yes. So
you know, you might as well put yourself in harm's way when you do something that you love than on the streets, right? So and then I think coming from South Canada, we are kind of brave yes. And we take chances, and nothing really comes to life if not if there is no risk involved. And that's how I kind of you know, I was young, you know, so I was not really scared. I had probably, if I had to think for another 10 years of how I would be, I wouldn't have done it. I was living the moment. I was really racing. I was happy with it, and I was loving it, and that's how it all shaped up.
Wonderful, sir.
Yeah.
How are the race bikes different from the other bikes or normal bikes?
See, there are different kinds of races. There is something called road racing also. There is something called off-road racing. So these are the two forms of racing. On-road racing bikes have slick tires, and they have really low ground clearance, because they have to be more aerodynamic, because they have to cut speed in straights and all of that. Off-road bikes are a completely different kind of nature, where the bikes have bigger wheels, bigger suspension, lighter frame, plastic parts, because when you crash, it doesn't have, when you crash, it shouldn't break. So you should be able to pick it up and ride back again. So off-road racing, form of racing, yeah, like I said, big wheels, fuel and lighter frame, lot of suspension, so you can take all the impacts. So it's really different. It's nothing like the bike that you see on road.
I have heard that Mudabidre has contributed a lot and supported a lot for your passion, sir. What would you like to tell us?
Oh, definitely. See, Mudabidre, I know, to be very honest, your managing trustee, Mr. Vivek Alva, has been my college batchmate. So that's how far I know him from. We are friends for almost 17 years now. And initially, they were not, even Vivek for that matter, he would tell me, like, don't do all of this monkey business, you got to study and you got to do something with your life and all of that. But like I said, just like my parents, over the years they kind of knew that this is what I wanted to do, and I was heading in the right direction and not doing some funny business. So like you said, Alvas or Mudabidres or Vivek, it plays a big role in my life. And very recently, that video that from Alva's motor rig kind of went viral. And we've done some crazy stuff, which in fact now, if we had to call the boats, probably we could have had some records in our names. So the relationship is really long and strong.
You are the only Indian to complete Dakar Rally in 2019. What was your preparations before getting into it, and how was your experience there?
I've been racing Dakar since 2017. So my first Dakar didn't go as I planned. I crashed on the first day and hurt my wrist, and I tried continuing. The second, I had a crash on the fourth day also, and then I had to pull out. So I trained the whole year, 2017, did really well in the World Championship races and all of that. And then I did the 2018 Dakar. 2018 Dakar, I was running top 25 on the fifth day. But then again, disaster, broke my leg. So 2018, I didn't really have much time on the bike at all, because I had a very serious injury on my leg, which took almost 6 months for me to just walk. And then 2 surgeries in 6 months, and then I started walking. I rode a race called Pan Africa in Morocco, crashed there, broke my wrist there, 2 surgeries before. So going into 2019, I had 3 days of bike riding and 4 surgeries, 2 for my leg and 2 for my wrist. So absolutely, but the only thing that I had was my unwavering confidence towards doing well, and my willpower also. So this is how I prepared. I would just sit and ride road books on PS4, and just to stay in touch with the road books. And riding part, I think I've been riding for so long that even if I wake up in my sleep and you put me on the bike, I would still ride. It's definitely not going to be at 100%, but then initially I went into the race and I rode it really easy. But as the race kind of progressed, I got really, I kind of got used to the bike, and then I started riding better and worked every day towards getting better and better, and that's how I made it to the finish line. It definitely was the hardest Dakar for me, because with no riding and 4 surgeries and nursing injuries through the race, people being 100%, they still can't really do well there. And nursing injuries like that, and I still managed to do it. I feel proud about it.
Very nice, sir. You met with a very serious injury too
Yes.
in 2019 Dakar Rally.
Yes.
Tell about it.
See, the injuries are part of this. How can I say? It's a sport, which is like a contact sport, and it's very physical. So, like I said earlier, it's calculated risks, and sometimes the calculation goes a notch here or there, and then you get hurt. But that's how you try and focus on the positive things in life, and hope that everything happens for a reason. Recover from it, work harder, and then try to do it better.
Which was the most deadliest experience that you have faced?
Oh, there are many. Should I be saying deadly in the sense wow factor, or spectacular, or scared to death kinds?
Most dangerous one.
Most dangerous one. See, riding in Dakar and riding in Morocco, there are so many instances that you would feel that, oh, I almost died every time. So, there are many situations like that. But the race organizer also make sure that you don't really put yourself in such situations. But spectacular, just for speculation, there are many instances that you could things can go wrong, and you can really be at harm's way for sure.
Sir, let's talk about Bigg Boss.
Yeah.
When you got selected, or when Bigg Boss gave you offer,
Yeah.
how did you feel? What was your first reaction to it?
My first reaction was I was not going to go.
Oh.
Because I thought, I also was under the impression as to it was scripted, and they literally create controversies to get TRP and all of that. Because I've never watched Bigg Boss earlier ever in my life, and this is the first Bigg Boss. This is the first and only Bigg Boss I've played straight, and I've not watched it yet. But my first reaction was no. And then we had many meetings with few meetings with the director and the channel head, and they kind of gave me a realistic picture as to what really happens inside, and as to how many people really watch it. And there were many other things which were uncertain in my life at that moment of time. Like racing was uncertain because of COVID, and my Europe trips were uncertain because of COVID again. So the racing calendar was not out. The only certain thing which was happening in my life was Bigg Boss, and with all the numbers which was actually given to me, and it kind of came out as to be very positive to me, because even if I stayed, I thought even if I stayed for a month, there are 7.5 crore people watching Bigg Boss, so my sport will definitely get some recognition. But it all went really great, and I kind of stayed almost all the days in the house, and here we are. So
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would have regretted not going for sure.
According to you, how is Bigg Boss useful for viewers and contestants?
See, contestants, I think there are a lot of positive things also which happen. There are a lot of negative things also which happens to contestants, but it all depends on how you carry it, and what's your lifestyle and what you focus on. Because when people are getting famous and getting successful, there will be a lot of people who will want them to do bad, and who will want them to be shown in a different image, or spoil your image, or things like that. But I think me as a contestant, it was really good for me, because all my sport, I've been involved with the sport for almost 15 years, and it took me 17 years and 120 days for 7.5 crore people to understand that there is something called off-road racing which happens, and it is serious, and people do it professionally, and there's a lot. It's not just a monkey business, and there's a lot behind being a racer, and there's a lot of sacrifices and so on. So as a contestant, I think it definitely played out to be very, very positive for me. But then there could be negative also. It all depends on what you put in, right? You get what you give.
Yes.
So if I do good to you, you do good to me as well. If I say namaste to you, you would greet me well as well. So if I would throw an attitude towards you, you wouldn't really like it, and you would probably throw your attitude as well. So it's all yeah, you get what you give. Speculate. I mean, viewers-wise, I can't really tell much, but I think it kind of shows as to how one situation in any given situation, how 17 people or 20 people can think 20 different types for the same solution, and it could either be dealt angrily, it could either be dealt laughingly, or it could either be dealt with silence, so it kind of gives you different perspectives towards the same situation, which kind of helps you do better in life, I guess. You can, most of the times you can put yourself in someone else's shoes who's doing something like that, and then you can sit back and think back and connect to if you went through the same situation and what would you do. So you have a template to compare and better yourself for the betterment again, not for the worse.
Can you share the most happiest moment or incident in Bigg Boss?
Most happiest instant for surely was Olavina Udugure for me, because someone giving me something which is so valuable for them, it's really rare, and I think it felt special. So that I would say.
Very nice, sir. How did you feel when your co-contestants were eliminated one by one?
See, everybody who goes to Bigg Boss, they are going there to win it. It's mixed feelings. Sometimes the person whom you don't want to see, when he goes, it probably makes you feel happy. But then when you have a good bond with somebody and that person goes home, then you don't really feel happy, but then you're still happy because it's not you who is going home. Everybody wants to stay there.
Yes.
So everybody wants to win. So it's definitely a mixed feeling as to it's bittersweet. I could say it's bittersweet. So you are sad for them to go, but then you're happy that you are saved and you will continue.
You have won the hearts of many. There are many fan pages, fan followers in social media. How your family reacts to it?
Oh, initially, I think it was really, really overwhelming for them with the TV channels and the media haunting them to talk about things that how it went and all of that. But I think now they are in a place where they kind of understand as to how they have to deal with it also, and it's definitely not going to be normal like how it was before. So, but I'm sure they also enjoyed the limelight, and they are very, very happy that my sport or my achievements got recognition and people really love me so much, and there are so many fan pages. And at this moment I would also like to mention that the love that I get from the fan pages and every individual also, it's not just the fan pages, but every individual also is really brilliant. And I would always be how can I say, thankful and grateful to it, and I always wish and hope that it only grows and it continues.
You are the role model and inspiration to many. Who is your role model?
I used to idolize different people for different reasons. Initially, when I was in my sport, I would idolize Mr. Ricky Carmichael. He's an American Supercross champion. He's called the GOAT, the greatest of all times. So I used to idolize him. And with humanitarian grounds, I would idolize Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam and like Sadhguru. And I like ideologies. People who are how can I say, they are very neutral with whatever they're saying, but it makes so much sense, and it kind of uplifts the whole country. So these are the people I still idolize.
You are a state level swimmer, state level high jumper, national level pole vaulter. Then why only bikes?
Now you sound like my mom. This is what my mom told me when I was getting into it. I'm good at my academics also, so she was like, why you have so many certificates, you have all of that going on, why not continue there, and why this? See, this is what I love. I think I was kind of pulled towards it, and then I just got stuck because it's really how can I say? I can't say it is addictive, but it kind of makes me feel alive. It's the only time when I'm on the bike is when I'm not thinking of you or my parents or my problems or any of that for that matter, of tomorrow or of the past or of the future, as to where all of that kind of vanishes, and it's just the moment in the bike. So that feeling, I always went back to riding because this is what I enjoyed. It's like how when your mood and the music syncs, so you feel really good about it, right? So I just kind of got stuck to the good feeling of it, and then that's how it all shaped up.
I like to ride bikes.
Okay.
I love to ride bikes.
Okay.
Will you suggest females or women for racing?
Oh, definitely.
Bike race.
Definitely. See, it's not there is no inequality in gender here. Even when I initially started, for example, I was racing in India first, and then because I graduated to a bigger bike, I had to go and train in America, and this was back in 2010. So when I started my training, the pros in America, there were girls who were 16, 17-year-old girls who were faster than me. So, it's definitely not, how can I say, there is no limitations as to the girls shouldn't or should ride. In fact, more and more girls should ride, because then more and more attention will come into the sport if there are more girls. The only thing that has to change is the girls also have to start very early. See, you're definitely, I know you know how to ride, but then to race, I can't. It's kind of late for you to start now, because if you want to achieve big, you have to start very early, because when you start early, it's like walking. So when you walk, do you think as to how should I walk? If you trip, you already know how to balance, right? Yes. Like if there is a stair, you know how to step down or step up or something like that. So it becomes really subconscious. And for riding to become subconscious, you have to ride from that age, and then you don't really have to think of anything. It just happens. So at a subconscious level. So other than age factor or starting when you have to start, I think girls, there's no problem at all. Like I said, there are faster girls.
As a viewer, I am asking you this question. I'll give you two options. You have to choose one and justify why did you choose that particular. Bike or Divya Urduga?
Oh, bike. Because I think bike is what gave me visibility, and bike is what took me there also. Bike is why I was chosen for Big Boss, where even Divya was there, and bike is why I was here at Alvas. Bike is why I've been recognized in India. Bike is why I've traveled the world. Bike is what keeps me alive, and bike is what will take me further.
Wonderful, sir.
Thank you.
One last question, sir. Can you please convey message to our viewers, sports persons, youth and students, sir?
See, you're in an era where India is changing, and there's a lot of support for all kinds of sports in India. The only thing that you have to do is you have to really play it smart. If you're good at something, stick to it and pursue it. If you're passionate enough, if you have the dedication, if you have the perseverance, result will come. Sometimes what happens is some people are more talented, some people need the heart. When your hard work meets luck is when you get results. So just luck can take you. It's like just the luck is like a lift. If there is a power cut, the lift is going to stop halfway. But hard work is like stairs. It's for sure. If you climb, you will reach on top. So you got to put in the work. You got to weather the storm. There's definitely going to be sacrifices, like you might not be able to spend time with your friends on the weekends and so on, but then if you really are good at something, you really have to put in the time, and I'm sure you will have a great life. All the sports person, like I said, you're on a very good era. Just keep doing what you're doing with 100%. Have no regrets. Do well and make your country and your parents proud.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
We wish you a great success in your life,
Thank
in
you.
your future plans, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending your most precious time with Alva's Education Foundation
Thank you.
and Department of Journalism in Anubhava Payana.
Yes.
And hope you achieve more and more in national and international level name and fame, sir.
Thank you so
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. It's earlier it used to be motoring alone, but now I think I'm being a part of different segments in Alvas, which I feel really happy about because I'm also how can I say, I'm not an intellectual, but I'm an educated guy as well. So I also have interests in things like this, and like the 37 clubs that you have. I'm sure I could relate to it, because in my college days we were also a part of things like Anubhava and more Virasat and so on. So it definitely feel great to be here. Every time when I come here is the same feeling as I ever get, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much, sir. Namaste.
Namaste.
In next episode, we'll come up with another great personality. Until then, keep watching Alva's Education Foundation YouTube channel. Thank you.